guys, my name is Caitlin and welcome back to Cait Straight Up. St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner and it is one of my favorite times of the year for its delicious corned beef. I like corned beef and cabbage, I have a recipe for that, and I love some delicious corned beef hash. Now today, that's what we're doing. It is perfect for if you are going to be drinking all day at a St. Patrick's Day parade. Not that I go to those anymore, I am way too old. I may only have 1 or 2 or 3 on my calendar for this year. I feel like I've really cut it down, but I need my corned beef hash before I go. So this recipe is perfect for already cooked corned beef, leftovers, that type of thing, after you've had your corned beef and cabbage for the year. So you're gonna give your corned beef that is fully cooked a nice rough chop. Doesn't have to be perfect. Some people like to shred it, some people like to do nice big chunks, but just kind of move it around and just slice it all up, and unfortunately you're gonna wanna leave that fat on. After you got your corned beef all diced up, just go ahead and add it to your skillet. Best thing about this recipe is it is completely one pot. You are not going to have a mess after this. This is for leftovers, or this is for if you're having a St. Patrick's party, that type of thing. So one pot, stovetop, and in the oven. So you're going to let your corned beef cook in that pan with that fat. That's going to kind of serve as our oil to allow this to not stick to our pan. And we're just going to add about 2 or 3 shakes of some malt vinegar. Just a little bit. Give it some sizzle. Perfect. While you're letting this corned beef and vinegar cook together, you are going to slice up 1 yellow onion. Again, this is like a hash casserole, so you could go ahead and rough chop it. And once you got that nice and sliced, you're adding your onion in with your corned beef. You're going to give all that a nice stir, let your onion mix in with that delicious corned beef and that nice kind of fat that we don't want to admit is in it. It's all right. It's 1 day a year, right? It's fine. We're going to stop at this step for about 5 to 10 minutes and just let our onion and our corned beef cook together. You're going to want to leave it on medium heat. You don't want anything getting crazy. You can even kick it down to medium low if it feels like it's getting a little bit too hot, because you want your onions to kind of start juicing up like they do right in that corned beef. One of the last ingredients that we're going to need to chop up for this dish is some nice bell pepper to throw in just a few minutes. Now you can use any color, red, green, or orange, but since it's St. Patrick's Day and I'm going to have some other green ingredients, I went with orange to give it an Irish flair. While this is cooking, we could shred up our potatoes. Now you guys know I love my veggie bullet, but there are plenty of products that you could shred up your potatoes with. So we're just going to get some nice russet potatoes and get those going. So it's my personal belief that a hash is not a hash unless the potatoes are shredded. So I'm going to take my russet potato and I'm going to put it into my veggie bullet. Now any type of shredder that you have will work. Just make sure you get it in, turn it on, and shred it up. Before we add our shredded potatoes, I'm going to go ahead and add in my orange bell pepper and give it a nice stir. We want to let all the vegetables kind of have a second before we move on to the next step. Nothing too crazy with the bell peppers. Just let them kind of get going, let them mix in, and then it's time to get this hash really started. The last step before we do our egg and our final ingredients in the oven is to add our actual shredded potatoes. So I like to do a little bit at a time. I feel like it's easier for mixing purposes. So just add a little bit. We had 3 potatoes here to start, and then just blend it all in with your ingredients. Now you're just going to want to make sure that it gets nice and blended, that it's evenly distributed throughout, that you don't got too much of something in one corner. That's not good for anything. So just nicely, evenly distribute it, stir up that corned beef, add a little bit more potatoes to your liking. You don't want this to be too much potatoes, but it is kind of, the base of the dish. So add what you think. And then we're going to work on mixing it and pressing it down so it actually gets that hashed feel that we want. So when you get your potatoes nice and evenly kind of mixed in with your other ingredients, you're going to press them down like this. Now I will say, if you can't shred them like I did, you can do this with chunks of potatoes. It's going to taste, good too. But we want to press it down kind of so we're making like a little pie. We're going to allow this to cook on medium to high heat for about 5 minutes. So we want our hash to brown up just a bit. That's what makes a good hash, right? So we want it to brown up, but we also want it to cook evenly. So about halfway through, as it's getting browned on the bottom, just give it a nice flip and then kind of push it down like this. You're gonna do this a couple times throughout cooking, just so it gets that nice hash feel. And now for my favorite part of this entire recipe. We're gonna kind of dig in 3 little like nest areas that we're gonna pour egg into. It makes it so freaking fantastic. You guys have no idea. So just kind of like move it around a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. This whole pan is going right into the oven, but just make like 3 little nests. Then you have to crack your egg and hope you got good aim, which sometimes I don't. So let's hope this goes okay. All right. Once your 3 eggs are nicely perched into their delicious nest, this is going into a 375-degree oven for about 20 minutes. We want it to crisp up. You can even broil it at the end a little bit if you want to, but at least 20 minutes, and then get it to the consistency that you like. We can totally crisp this hash up and stick into this pan. It's going to be fantastic. I had a conversation with my friends recently after maybe 2 or 3 beers, and we were all like, a dish has some love if it got some chives on top, and I was like, I couldn't freaking agree more. So this dish needs to have it. We're just going to give a nice rough chop. We want them to be kind of thick so they stand out, and just give it a nice chop, and that's perfect. I think I lost one on the floor, but we're good. Easy enough, guys, right? After about 20 minutes, our eggs are cooked at that 375. It is time to put that extra little bit of love right over top with our green onions and our chives. And that is it. Your corned beef hash is done, and it looks awesome. I mean, what else could you want? Grab a Guinness. It's St. Patrick's Day, I guess. Subscribe to Cait Straight Up for more fun recipes every Tuesday. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to know what I'm up to, just tweet at me or do that below this video. And other than that, I can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.